Why do brain injuries keep happening in boxing? I'm going to try my best to explain this, and I'm going to put up some key points and pictures in the background to help me explain my standpoint and why I believe this keeps happening. Traumatic brain injury usually results from a violent blow, most importantly right here, or a jolt to the head or body. Research has proven for some time that whiplash causes injury to the cervical spine. However, recent studies have shown that those suffering from whiplash are at an increased risk for experiencing concurrent traumatic brain injury. Brain injury can occur with, most importantly, or without a direct impact to the head. Shaken baby syndrome, also known as abusive head trauma, shaken impact syndrome, inflicts head injury or whiplash shake syndrome, is a serious brain injury resulting from forcefully, notice no impact, forcefully shaking an infant or toddler. Traumatic brain injury is caused by an external force, such as a blow to the head that causes the brain to move inside the skull or damages the skull. Let's compare boxing to MMA. As you see, boxers average about 13 deaths per year in the ring, and MMA fighters average about 1 death per year in the octagon. Now you have to ask yourself, why in boxing does this keep happening, and why is it so rare in MMA? Why is the biggest question? And I believe the answer, which I had pointed out or tried to at least point out in this video, is the fact that brain injuries don't always occur from hard blows to the head. It's a jarring of the brain. It's a shaking of the brain. It's the brain moving around, hitting the walls of the skull inside of your head. That is what causes the most damage. And in boxing versus MMA, there is no saving you in MMA. In boxing, the referee comes, administers a 10 count, and if you can get up, then you take more damage. If you get knocked down again and you get up, you take more damage. Whereas in MMA, if you get knocked down, they're jumping on top of you to finish you. So to the eye, it looks more brutal, but in actuality, you take more damage over the long run of the course, which is where the brain injury actually comes from. It's almost like shaking the baby. You're constantly shaking your brain in a boxing match when blows that should have knocked you out don't knock you out because you're given time to recover. That along with the fact that you have thicker gloves on. So now harder punches, greater impact punches that would normally knock you out aren't knocking you out because of the padding. So now your neck's being hit back. Now your brain's being hit back. Now everything inside of your head is being slammed to the back of your skull and slammed back forward when you come to reset. And this is the reason why we see time and time again boxers dying in the ring. What can be the solution to this? I don't really know. I'm underneath the pretense that I believe that there should be a total knockdown rule throughout the course of a fight. I don't care if it's 2 times, if you get knocked down in the first round, in the 12th round twice, it's over. I don't care if it's 3 times that you get knocked down, but there needs to be some type of ruling. There used to be a 3 knockdown rule in a single match that would disqualify you. A lot of matches don't even have that anymore, so you could get knocked down 4, 5, 6 times and around as long as you're getting back up. In the case of Patrick Day, I'm bringing him up because he's the most recent. If you rewatch the fight, all these news outlets, all these YouTubers have reported it wrong. It was not 3 punches that put him away. It was 4 punches. He lands a short uppercut into a right hook. When he landed that short uppercut, Patrick Day was already out. If you watch the replay, you can see his eyes roll up in the back of the head. The next punch sent him around the ring. The next 2 punches is what ended him. It was not his head slamming on the mat. It was the fact that he was already out on his feet. His body was already unconscious when he got hit 2 more times. The referee, although I will not place the blame on him, but he did fail to act. When Patrick Day was stumbling way across the ring and Conwell jumped across to finish him, it should have been finished there. Those punches should have never been allowed to land. Now, in between the uppercut and the right hook, it would have been too hard to get in between that because they were back to back. But when Patrick Day went around the ring, that was more than enough time for the referee to stop it. And that is what caused his brain injury. It's the accumulation of punches. In my opinion, the fight should have been stopped before then. I said that he was being outclassed. Patrick Day looked good, looked like he had a lot of power on his punches, but he just couldn't land a single blow on Caldwell. Caldwell's defense was way too good for him. He found a little bit of success here and there, but he was just being outlanded by too much. The fight should have been stopped way before it got into this deep water. But again, I'm getting sidetracked and off course because this is the part of the video that's unscripted and I'm just talking. The fight should have ended after the right hook that came after the uppercut. And the reason why, again, and I'll end the video on this, boxers keep dying is because they take way more damage than MMA fighters do. Even though to the untrained eye, it looks less brutal, they're actually taking a lot more damage than they should because they're allowed to continue after being knocked down and put in a compromising situation.